At 3:17 hours, Persian Gulf, northern sector. The Abraham Lincoln carrier strike group cuts through black water at 12 knots. Flight deck silent. Running lights extinguished. The pre-dawn calm unmarked by any visible threat. Then, for ballistic, launch signatures bloomed simultaneously on radar. 280 nautical miles to the northeast, and 17 minutes begin. The E-2D Hawkeye airborne early warning aircraft detects the signatures first. 4 distinct thermal plumes, rising fast, climbing at angles that confirm ballistic trajectory. Not cruise missiles, not drones. Ballistic. The telemetry is unambiguous. Iranian origin. The tactical action officer aboard USS Frank E. Peterson Jr., DDG-121, identifies the threat. Classification within 11 seconds. Emad class, medium-range ballistic missiles. Iran's most precise surface-to-surface weapon system. 1,700 kilometer operational range. 50-meter circular error probable. 750 kilogram warhead per missile. 4. Inbound. Direct vector toward. CVN-72. The carrier represents the most strategically valuable single-surface asset in the United States military, to 100,000 tons of nuclear-powered warfighting capacity. 5,000 sailors, 90 aircraft embarked. The strike group goes to general quarters at 3 hours 17 minutes and 22 seconds. Watertight hatches sealed throughout the hull. Damage control teams take stations. Every second that passes is a second closer to impact. For missiles, 17 minutes. The clock is running. 3 hours, 17 minutes, and 43 seconds. Hours. The NSPY-1DV phased array radar aboard all 3 escorting Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers achieve simultaneous track lock on all 4 inbound ballistic threats. The E-2D Hawkeye transmits correlated targeting data to USS Frank E. Peterson Jr. DDG-121, USS Michael Murphy DDG-112, and USS Spruance DDG-111. The Aegis Ballistic Missile Defense system begins computing intercept solutions in parallel time to impact a current trajectory. 16 minutes, 40 seconds, at 3:19 hours. Fleet Commander transmits authorization, weapons free. USS Frank E. Peterson Jr. fires the first SM-3 Block IA standard missile. At 3 hours 19 minutes and 7 seconds hours. The interceptor clears the Mk-41 vertical launch system tube in a column of white ignition smoke and climbs at Mach 15, 5.1 kilometers per second, ascending into the upper atmosphere. The SM-3 Block IIA does not carry an explosive warhead. It carries a kinetic kill vehicle, 70 kilograms of precision, guidance, hardware, and titanium structure designed to intercept through direct collision. At combined closure velocities exceeding 10 kilometers per second, no explosives are required. The physics of hypervelocity impact are sufficient. They are more than sufficient. At 3:21 hours. USS Michael Murphy fires 2 SM-3 Block IIA interceptors in rapid succession, 3 hours 21 minutes and 14 seconds and 3 hours 21 minutes and 28 seconds hours. 14 seconds between launches. The Aegis combat system has partitioned the battle space. Each destroyer owns specific intercept corridors. Each of the 4 inbound tracks has been assigned a primary interceptor and a secondary backup solution. This architecture does not emerge spontaneously in combat. It is the product of years of Aegis BMD doctrine, refined through exercises, tested against surrogate targets, and now executing with mechanical precision under live fire. At 3:22 hours. 2 FA-18F Super Hornets on combat. Air Patrol receive updated threat tracks from the E-2D Hawkeye and are vectored north. They will not intercept the ballistic missiles directly. The trajectory altitude has already exceeded their engagement ceiling. Their mission is different. Sanitize the launch corridor. Locate any follow-on launch platforms. Deny Iran a second salvo. The battle space extends 300 nautical miles in every direction. Nothing moves within it without American awareness. At 3:23 hours. USS Spruance fires a 3rd SM-3 Block IA at 3 hours 23 minutes and 41 seconds. Hours of backup intercept solution assigned to track 3. The 3rd inbound missile. 3 interceptors are now rising. 3 of the 4 inbound threats are covered with primary intercept shots. Track 4, however, is different. Intelligence assessment confirmed by the trajectory signature identifies it as a derivative, hypersonic glide vehicle capability, terminal phase maneuverability. Track 4 will not fly a predictable ballistic arc into a waiting kill vehicle. It will maneuver The Aegis system designates USS Frank E. Peterson Jr. for a second shot. Engagement on Track 4 and begins computing revised intercept geometry as the FATA descends start at 3:24 hours. USS Abraham Lincoln launches two EA-18G Growler electronic attack aircraft from Catapult 1. The Growlers climb northeast immediately. Their ALQ-99 tactical jamming pods activated at altitude, broadcasting across all identified Iranian missile guidance and data link frequencies. If any of the 4 inbound missiles carry active terminal homing capability, if any attempt LASA, radar or GPS, assisted course corrections in the final phase, the Growlers are now blinding those systems. The electronic attack does not stop the missiles. It degrades their ability to correct for evasive maneuvers or changing target geometry. It narrows the margin of error Iran's engineers had engineered into the targeting solution. Simultaneously, USS Abraham Lincoln brings her RIM-16 Evolved Sea Sparrow missile batteries to full readiness. 50-kilometer engagement envelope, last resort outer ring. All 4 Phalanx CIWS mounts rotate to threat axis. 4,500 rounds per minute. 20mm tungsten penetrators. 2 kilometers maximum engagement range. This is the innermost layer. It is not supposed to be needed. Every layer before it is designed so that it never fires in anger. At 3:26 hours first intercept, the SM-3 kill vehicle from USS Frank E. Peterson Jr. contacts Track 1 at 3 hours 26 minutes and 14 seconds hours. Altitude, 73 kilometers. The impact flash is visible from the carrier flight deck as a brief white pulse against the black Persian sky. There and gone in a fraction of a second. Track 1 ceases to register as a coherent object. The warhead does not fall to Earth. It vaporizes into a dispersing cloud of superheated metal fragments. Their kinetic energy dissipated across too large a volume to reassemble into a directed threat. Splash 1. Track 2, intercepted at 3 hours 27 minutes and 2 seconds hours. USS Michael Murphy's first SM-3 clean kill. Altitude, 68 kilometers. Range from the carrier at moment of intercept, 190 nautical miles. The Aegis tracking network updates all ship-to-ship data in real time. Splash 2. Track 3 USS Michael Murphy's second interceptor closes, but Track 3 has maneuvered. IRGC engineers had programmed a terminal course correction, the 4-degree lateral. Shift timed to execute at 65 kilometers altitude, designed specifically to defeat predictive intercept geometry. It is a sophisticated countermeasure. It is not enough. The SM-3 Block IIA kill vehicle's Vector 2 control system detects the Track 3 maneuver in microseconds and applies corrective thrust. It closes the geometry gap in the final 6 seconds of flight. Impacted 3 hours 27 minutes and 41 seconds hours. Altitude, 55 kilometers. Track 3, obliterated. Splash 3. Track 4, the FATA derivative. This one is different. At 3:28 hours, Track 4 enters its terminal phase. It has descended below 40 kilometers. The SM-3 engagement envelope is narrowing rapidly. Track 4's glide vehicle executes a sharp vector, shift -12 degrees lateral, sustained. Precisely the kind of hypersonic maneuver that SM-3 intercept geometry struggles to accommodate in compressed time. USS Frank E. Peterson Jr. S second shot SM-3. Launched at 3 hours 26 minutes and 51 seconds. Hours as a precaution. Closes and misses. The kill vehicle passes 600 meters from the target. The Aegis system registers the miss in 0.3 seconds. USS Spruance receives the automatic targeting handoff. Its reserved interceptor launches at 3 hours 28 minutes and 22 seconds hours. Track 4 descends 30 kilometers. The RIM-162C Sparrow batteries aboard the Abraham Lincoln fire. Missiles away at 3 hours 28 minutes and 41 seconds. The Growlers intensify jamming. The 4 Phalanx mounts are locked and loading. 20 kilometers. 18 kilometers. The sky northeast of the carrier converges with kill vectors from 4 separate weapon systems. Aegis SM-3 Sparrow, Phalanx, Growler, jamming, all closing on a single FATA. Warhead still traveling at hypersonic velocity toward 100,000 tons of American steel. USS Spruance's SM-3 kills. Track 4 at 3 hours 28 minutes and 54 seconds hours. Altitude, 18 kilometers. Distance from USS Abraham Lincoln at moment of intercept, 34 nautical miles. The warhead disintegrates. No coherent fragment field registers on any tracking radar. The Sea Sparrows decelerate and self-destruct on schedule. The Phalanx mounts hold fire. The Growlers banked south. 4 missiles fired. 4 missiles destroyed. At 3:34 hours, the tactical action officer aboard USS Frank E. Peterson Jr. transmits to Fleet Command, Splash 4. Strike group nominal. Lincoln is clean. The Abraham Lincoln had never altered course. 17 minutes after initial detection, Silence reclaimed the battle space. Damage assessment completed across all 3 destroyers and the carrier. 0 hits. 0 structural damage. 0 casualties from the missile engagement itself. The 4 SM-3 Block IIA interceptors expended combined procurement value, approximately $72 million, had performed their function with complete effectiveness. CENTCOM transmitted its public statement within the hour. The language was precise and deliberately unemotional. The Lincoln was not hit. The missiles launched did not come close. The statement offered no specifics regarding the track for engagement margin. It did not require elaboration. Aboard the Abraham Lincoln, the ship's commanding officer addressed the crew over the 1MC at 4 o'clock hours. The message was 31 seconds long. At 4:17 hours, exactly 1 hour after the attack commenced, catapult to launch the first FA-18E Super Hornet of the morning strike package. Destination: IRGC command infrastructure in southern Iran. The carrier had resumed operations. The work continued without pause. Elsewhere in the theater, the accounting from the opening hours of Operation Epic Fury was already complete on one ledger. The Iranian Emad-class corvette at Chabahar Pier had been struck by U.S. Navy forces and was already descending through 40 meters of water in the Gulf of Oman. Destroyed before the IRGC's ballistic missiles had even left their launch rails, Iran had lost a commissioned warship. It had failed to mark the paint on a carrier. The tactical lessons were immediate and unambiguous. 4 of Iran's most capable ballistic weapons fired in a coordinated salvo, under genuine combat conditions, against a real target with enormous strategic value, had been defeated by 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, executing established doctrine, no emergency protocols, no system improvisations. Standard Aegis BMD operating procedure, performed under live fire, produced a 100% intercept rate against a 4-missile coordinated salvo that included a maneuvering hypersonic terminal. Via CIWS engagement validated more than a decade of investment in the SM-3 Block IIA program, a $3 billion joint US-Japanese development effort, whose combat utility had never previously been tested under these precise conditions. Forward deploy, real threat operational theater, no controlled parameters. Every dollar of that investment was present in the Persian Gulf at 3 hours 28 minutes and 54 seconds. Hours when the kill vehicle from USS Sparrow closed to 18 kilometers and ended the engagement permanently. Strategic ramifications cascaded across the theater within hours of daybreak. Gulf Cooperation Council member states, Bahrain, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, each of which hosts American military personnel, and each of which had absorbed Iranian missile fire in the preceding hours, had been monitoring the carrier engagement on shared radar networks. The intercept data was visible to every Allied sensor in the region. The demonstration was not theoretical. It was recorded, time-stamped, and reproducible. American naval defense architecture had absorbed a deliberate ballistic missile attack against its most protected surface asset and had not flinched. Iran's information operation ran on a separate track entirely. IRGC-affiliated media broadcast the claim of 4 direct carrier hits within minutes of the engagement's conclusion. Video footage unverifiable, assessed by analysts as computer-generated, circulated across regional networks. The intended audience was domestic. Supreme Leader Khomeini was dead, killed in the U.S.-Israeli strikes that had opened Operation Epic Fury 18 hours earlier. The surviving Iranian leadership required a counter-narrative. Resistance demonstrated. American power struck. The carrier's vaunted invulnerability breached. What the missiles actually did was, within that information architecture, a secondary consideration. The claim served its domestic purpose. Regardless of physical reality, this engagement fundamentally reshaped the operational calculus of warfare in the Persian Gulf. Iran had telegraphed its carrier-killing intent for 2 decades, through Revolutionary Guard exercises, through propaganda simulations, through repeated public declarations by RGC commanders that American carriers would be sunk in any conflict. The foundational assumption of that posture was saturation. That sufficient simultaneous missile vectors could overwhelm any Aegis network. Operation True Promise tested that assumption with 4 weapons. The Aegis network answered with 4. intercepts, including a second-shot recovery against a maneuvering hypersonic threat. The engagement did not resolve the saturation question in absolute terms. A coordinated salvo of 40 missiles, or 80, aimed simultaneously from multiple axes, would present fundamentally different mathematics, but it established an unambiguous data point. For missiles, including Iran's most capable maneuvering re-entry vehicle, were not enough. For missiles left Iranian soil, for missiles were destroyed before reaching their target. 17 minutes elapsed between the launch signatures on radar and the final intercept confirmation. The Abraham Lincoln resumed flight operations before sunrise. The Persian Gulf remains under American naval dominance, not through diplomatic posture, not through deterrence communicated in press releases, but through the demonstrated, recorded, and irreversible performance of systems that, under the most consequential test of this generation, simply worked.